Hello everyone, my name is Samar Absurdane. I will be teaching you reading comprehension, Q Skills for Success, Level 4, Unit 6. Does school prepare you for work? Some discussion questions first. What skills and abilities do students learn in school that can help them in their careers? Now answers may vary. A possible answer is students learn to work independently, think critically, and ask questions. These skills can help them in their careers. 2. What or who helps students prepare for adult life the most? School, culture, parents. For instance, I think parents help students the most. They teach them to be responsible and do what is right. And 3. Look at the photo. What type of work are the people preparing to do? What skills are they learning? So if you look at the photo, a possible answer could be that the student is learning to be a car mechanic. He will be able to repair cars. This will help him get a job. Moving on, page 136. Now, if you preview the reading, you can answer question B. Can you think of reasons for the author's opinion about students getting their first job after graduation? Write for 5 or 10 minutes in response. Be sure to use this section for your unit assignment. Now, some important vocabulary before we read, and we'll move on to the exercise after the reading. Adjust, ambiguous, analyze, anticipate, collaborative, constant, encounter, expertise, fixed, interpret, pattern, and transition. Moving on to the reading section, page 137, a difficult transition. It is a chilly January morning on the campus of San Jose State University and the start of a new term. 22-year-old Ryan Adams is walking with some friends to their first class. Ryan is beginning his final semester as a college student. At the end of May, he will graduate with a degree in finance. Even though graduation is a few months away, Ryan is already working on a resume or a CV and plans to start applying for jobs in April. He is both excited and a little nervous about making the transition from student to full-time employee. I am hoping to have a job by the summer, he explained. You know, it'll be good to finally get out into the working world. On the other hand, it'll be the first real job I've ever had, and that's a little scary. By the time Ryan graduates, he will have spent 4 years in college and a total of 16 years of his life in school. Like many students, Ryan believes that the time and money spent on his education will pay off. He will eventually be able to get a good job and do well in the field he has chosen. And yet, in spite of all of the years spent in school preparing to enter the workplace, many recent graduates say that they struggle with the transition from classroom to career world and have difficulty adjusting to life on the job. Writer and editor Joseph Lewis, who blogs for the website workawesome.com, suggests one reason why this is the case. Lewis believes that most of the school experiences from childhood through university are fairly predictable, while life in the working world is far more ambiguous. In school, for example, the pattern stays more or less the same from year to year. All students have to take a fixed number of classes each year, and in those classes they have to do certain things to succeed. Study, assign material, do homework, and take and pass tests. In the workplace, however, constant change is the norm, and one has to adapt quickly. A project you are working on this month might suddenly change next month or next week, and it is often hard to anticipate what you'll be doing 6 to 12 months from now. Life in the workplace can be uncertain in other ways as well. Lewis notes that in school, for example, you advance each year to the next grade, and that change carries with it a sense of progress. Or a sense of growth and importance. In the workplace, however, you have no idea when you might be promoted. It depends on the economy, on your coworkers, on your boss or clients, or 100 other things you can't control. Another problem that graduates enter in the workplace encounter is that they are unprepared to think analytically. In school, many students, including those in college, spend a lot of time memorizing facts and repeating what they learned on tests. But in the workplace, notes the Career Services Network at Michigan State University, employees are often expected to think critically and make decisions about their work, not just follow a supervisor's instructions. An employee who is facing a problem at work, for example, needs to be able to identify different solutions, select the best course of action, and explain his choice to others. Less time needs to be spent in school on testing, says one recent report, and more on helping students to analyze and interpret information, solve problems, and communicate their ideas effectively. Skills that will prepare them to succeed in today's workplace. Finally, many recent graduates say that one of the biggest difficulties they face is adjusting to teamwork on the job. In some ways, school does prepare one for the collaborative nature of the workplace. Learners sit in classes every day with many other students. They must listen to others' opinions, participate at times in group discussions, and learn how to get along outside the classroom. Nevertheless, in school, a student normally works independently to complete most tasks, tests, homework, and projects, and receive a grade according to how well he or she has done. In the workplace, however, employees must regularly interact with others and are often dependent on their co-workers for their success. In other words, if an employee has to work with others to complete a given project, that employee's success not only depends on his hard work and expertise, but also on how well his colleagues perform. Knowing how to participate effectively in teamwork and deal with problems when they arise is extremely important, and yet it is also something many students don't get enough practice with in a school setting. How can we better prepare young adults for the workplace? Recent graduates looking back on their educational experience have some advice. Many think that all students should be required to do an internship while they are in school, volunteering part-time at a company, hospital, or government organization, for example, can help one gain experience and learn skills needed to succeed in the real world. Other graduates believe that teachers should include more teamwork as part of class activities. Such tasks would familiarize students with the demands of collaborating with colleagues in the workplace. Still, others feel there should be more focus on developing writing and public speaking skills, abilities many employees must regularly use on the job. Pairing this kind of practical work experience with classroom instruction, say the graduates, will help prepare students for the realities of the workplace and make the transition from school to career world less successful, less stressful. Alright, moving on to the vocabulary section. So after reading the sentences, what you need to do is circle the answer that best matches the meaning. 1. Making the transition from student to full-time employee won't be easy, but you'll do fine. The answer is A, change. So transition means change. 2. After the long summer holiday, it is hard to adjust to working in an office again. C, adapt. 3. His job responsibilities have always been ambiguous. No one is really sure what he does. B, unclear. 4. Most people's lives follow a typical pattern. They graduate from school, get a job, and eventually get their own apartment. The answer is B, order. 5. In this job, you'll work a fixed number of hours, 8 to 5:30, Monday to Friday. The answer is C, certain. 6. It is hard to study with constant interruptions every 5 minutes. The answer is B, frequent. 7. I knew getting a job would be hard, but I didn't anticipate that it would take 6 months. The answer is C, expect. 8. Jane is starting a new job and she is worried that she will encounter many problems. The answer is A, experience. 9. Please analyze the information in the report carefully. The answer is C, examine. 10. How do you interpret the ending of that story? I didn't really understand it. The answer is A, explain. 11. The project was a collaborative effort. We all worked on it together. The answer is A, shared. And 12, his expertise is in international banking. He's been in the field for almost 25 years. The answer is B, special skill. Moving on, page 140, activity D, circle the correct answer. 1. Which statement best describes the problem discussed in the article? C. Many graduates aren't ready for today's workplace challenges. 2. What is mainly responsible for this problem? C. Schools' methods of instruction. 3. Look at paragraphs 3 to 5. A good subheading for this section of the article would be B. Difficulties graduates experience in the workplace. 4. Paragraphs 3 to 5 describe how school experiences A. are different from life in the workplace. 5. According to the article, which skills are essential in today's workplace? A. Being able to solve problems and contribute to a team. And 6. The purpose of paragraph 6 is to B. Suggest ways of solving the problem discussed in the article. Moving on, exercise E. Answer these questions. Question 1. In paragraph 1, how does the writer introduce the topic? What do you think is the purpose of using a quote from a student? The writer uses an example. The quote is used to help make the story more interesting. Question 2. Who is cited in paragraph 3? What problem does he discuss? In paragraph 3, writer and editor Joseph Lewis discusses why new graduates might have difficulty adjusting to life on the job. Question 3. What network is cited in paragraph 4? What problem does the network raise? The answer is the Career Services Network at Michigan State University raises the problem that students learn to repeat what they learned, but employees need to think critically, make decisions, and explain their choices to others. Last question 4. Who is cited in paragraph 6? Why are they cited? The answer is recent graduates are cited because they have first-hand experience. Alright, moving on, page 142. Nope, page 141, reading skill, using an outline. Now, an outline can help you understand how a text is organized. It shows the relationship between the main ideas and the specific information that supports them. There are many ways to organize an outline. One common way is to use Roman numerals like these for the main ideas and letters A, B, C for the supporting points. When you outline a text, you briefly summarize the ideas using some words from the text and some of your own words. You do not always need to write complete sentences. So let's look at activity A. Underline the thesis statement in the introduction, which is paragraph 1 to 2. The thesis statement is, many recent graduates say that they struggle with the transition from classroom to career world and have difficulty adjusting to life on the job. In paragraph 3, underline the main ideas and circle 2 supporting points. Now, to underline is the main idea. Lewis believes that most of our school experiences from childhood through university are fairly predictable, while life in the working world is far more ambiguous. And a supporting idea to be circled, in school, for example, the pattern stays more or less the same from year to year. All students have to take till in the workplace. However, constant change is the norm and one has to adapt quickly a project you are working on to the end of the sentence. And Lewis notes that in school, for example, you advance each year to the next grade. And in the workplace, however, you have no idea when you might be promoted. It depends on the economy. Now moving on to activity B. In number 3, you need to compare these sentences in the article with those in the outline below And notice that the sentences in the outline are shorter but still focus on the key information, the intro and the supporting ideas. In exercise B, what you need to do is complete the outline for sections 3, 4, and 5 from reading paragraphs 4 to 6, which should be as follows. As you can see, 3A, in school students memorize facts and take tests. B, in the workplace they must think critically and make decisions. C, schools should spend less time on testing. And D, schools should spend more time on helping students analyze information, solve problems, and communicate ideas. Now, 4, many recent graduates have difficulty adjusting to teamwork. A, supporting idea. In school, students work independently and get grades based on how they have done. And B, in the workplace, we are often dependent on co-workers for our success. And main idea, 5, ways we can better prepare students for the workplace. Supporting ideas: A, all students should do an internship. B, include more teamwork as part of class activities. And C, there should be more focus on developing writing and public speaking. Now moving on to reading 2 on page 143, making my first post-college career decision. Now you can preview the reading before actually reading. Choosing a job is one of the most important decisions a student makes after graduation. Read the title and subtitle and skim the first paragraph, then answer the following questions. 1. What 2 career options is the student trying to decide between? Possible answer is, he's trying to decide between starting his own business, working for himself, or taking a job in a large corporation. And the answer for the second question, which one do you think he's going to choose? It varies based on your own opinion. Moving on to the vocabulary section, vocabulary to focus on during the reading, and we'll move on to the exercise after the reading. Acquire, approach, contact, enable, incentive, income, institution, particular, permanent, reluctant, and utilize. Moving on to the reading section, making my first post-college career decision, going corporate. As college graduation approaches and I prepare to enter the working world, I've had a hard time deciding what I should do with my life. On the one hand, I wonder, am I an entrepreneur, the sort of innovative person who could start and grow my own business? Then at other times I think, would it be better to accept a position in a large corporation and climb the ranks? As I get ready to make the transition from student to full-time employee, I find myself thinking about these questions quite often. The good news is I think I finally got some answers. From internship to full-time job. I've always been interested in accounting and technology, and for the past year I've been interning at a large telecommunications company. It's been a great way for me to get some work experience and to see if this particular field is right for me. My internship has shown me that telecommunications isn't really the kind of work that I want to do long term. Nevertheless, I've learned a lot about communicating, collaborating, and dealing with office politics in the workplace. I know that I'll be able to use these skills in whatever job I do. When I began my final year in college last fall, I started pursuing the job postings looking for a full-time paying position in accounting. At the time, I noticed job ads for all of the public accounting firms, and though I thought they were interesting, I ignored them. I assumed they were for the December graduates. Was I ever mistaken? It turns out that they were postings for regular May graduates like me. When I realized my error, I quickly put together a resume and contacted professors for recommendations. I eventually interviewed with several companies, and within a week I'd gotten a job. I felt relieved. I had taken care of my future. It was November and I wouldn't even be starting until the following July. Learning is key. Though I interviewed with different companies, I decided to accept a position with a large accounting firm, primarily because I had already interned in the corporate world and wanted to gain more experience working for a large institution. Also, compared with the telecommunications company I'd been at, accounting firms' employees tend to work fewer hours for more pay. Why did I feel the need to get a job so quickly? Maybe I was anxious about earning an income and supporting myself after graduation. But I prefer to think I accepted the position because of what I could learn. At this point in my life, I believe that working for a large accounting firm will enable me to meet different people and utilize the skills I have acquired in school and during my internship. I also think it will provide me with the experience I need to grow in this field. However, once the job becomes predictable, once I stop learning and being challenged, then there won't be any incentive or motivation for me to continue with this company. At that point, I'll have to make some decisions about what I want to do next. Creating opportunities. Ultimately, I see myself doing one of two things in life: becoming an executive somewhere or starting something successful on my own. Do I have lofty goals? Sure I do. Do I know how, when, or where I will achieve them? Not at all. For this reason, I'd rather start out at a big company and see where it leads me. Eventually, I will either develop something on my own or continue to learn and do well as an employee. In any case, I know that I'll be given many new opportunities in my job with the accounting firm, and I'll do my best to take advantage of those. With all that said, I am only 20 years old. I have time to make decisions. At this point, I am reluctant to make a permanent career choice, and in reality, I may never make such a choice. In the end, I might become a corporate executive somewhere and start my own company. Whatever happens, I am sure I'll do fine. Anyway, it's impossible to predict the future, and so for now, I just want to see how it goes with my first job out of college. Moving on to page 146, vocabulary section. Activity B, complete the sentences with the vocabulary from the reading. 1. She spends almost a third of her monthly income on clothes for work. 2. We'll get a 1,000 bonus if we finish the project early. This is an incentive to work harder. 3. The best way to contact Mr. Al-Jasser is by email. He checks his messages often. 4. Getting a college degree will enable you to get a better job. 5. Badr wants to major in business, but he doesn't know what particular type of business he is most interested in. 6. Even though Aisha is unhappy, she is reluctant to quit her current job until she gets a new one. 7. Don't use that pen on the whiteboard. The ink is permanent and you won't be able to erase it. 8. Amal wants a job where she'll be able to utilize her English language skills. 9. As I approach my high school graduation, there is a part of me that isn't ready to finish school. 10. Sami works for a large financial institution in London. The company has offices worldwide. And finally, 11. The training program helps people acquire new workplace skills and get better jobs. Moving on, page 147. Activity D. Now here, each of these headings refers to the main idea of a paragraph in the blog. Write the correct paragraph number next to each heading. There is one extra heading. A chance to grow and learn, paragraph 5. B, get the job, paragraph 3. C, future career goals, paragraph 6. D, what I like about accounting and technology, not used. E, what being an intern taught me, paragraph 2. F, no rush to decide, paragraph 7. G, graduation nerves, what do I do next, paragraph 1. And H, accounting, the right choice for me, paragraph 4. Moving on to activity E. Use the actions in the box to complete the author's timeline below. Then write a paragraph using the ideas from the timeline, these ideas, to show what happened and will happen to the author. As you can see, the answer is as follows. Order of events on the timeline. First, start interning. Next, put together resume. Next, get a job, April 7th. Next, graduate from college, start a job. Then take advantage of opportunities in job. Then finally reconsider employment options. And the required paragraph can vary from student to student. And the possible answer is the author is going to have an interesting future. The author started interning. As you can see, the first action is or event is interning. So the author started interning while he was in college. During the fall semester, he put together his resume and started applying for jobs. He got a job in November that started the following summer. On April 7th, when he posted his blog, he was thinking about the future. He is going to graduate from college in May and start his job in July. He plans to take advantage of all the opportunities he can in his job, and sometime in the next few years, he will reconsider his employment options to determine whether he still wants to remain in the same job or to change what he is doing. It all should be very interesting. Moving on to activity F, true or false, then correct the false statements. 1. The blogger is interested in a career in telecommunications. False. The blogger isn't interested in a career in telecommunications. He is interested in a career in accounting. So either you negate it with isn't or change telecommunications to accounting. 2. He feels that his experience as an intern was useful. True. 3. He plans to start working full-time in December when he graduates. False. In July, not December. 4. He believes that telecommunications firms pay higher salaries than accounting firms. Also false. He believes that accounting firms pay higher salaries than telecommunication firms. 5. When his job is no longer challenging, he'll probably quit it and look for a new one. True. 6. He can imagine himself in a management position at some point in the future. True. 7. Having a steady job is the writer's goal. False. Having job flexibility or job choices is the writer's goal. And 8. He is optimistic about the future. True. Moving on to activity G. The blogger writes about having made several decisions. Using what he writes or implies, complete the chart with each choice he made and a reason for that choice. So in the first column we have the decision, then what choice he made in the second column, and in the third column is the reason behind the blogger's choice. So as you can see here, skipping the first decision, the example 2, when should he apply for a full-time job? The choices he made in the fall of his last year in college, and the reason, that is when companies were hiring for the summer. Decision 3, what kind of job should he accept? His choice, an accounting job in a large company. The reason behind it, he still wanted to work in a large corporation and he felt that accountants had better pay and shorter hours. Decision 4, what will he do when his new job becomes predictable? His choice, he will reconsider his options, and the reason is he wants to be learning all the time, so if he is bored, he will probably change jobs. Last decision, when will he start his own company? The choice or his choice is maybe later or maybe never, and the reason, he may decide that he wants to start his own business when he has more experience, or he may decide that he enjoys his corporate work. Moving on, page 150, vocabulary skill. word forms. Learning all forms of a word and how they are used helps you build your vocabulary. This skill will also give you more flexibility in your writing and speaking. Notice how different forms of the same word are used in different contexts. For example, analyze, a verb, to examine the nature or structure of something, especially by separating it into its parts. Example sentence, please analyze the information in the report closely. Analyst, a noun, a person who examines facts in order to give an opinion about them. Example sentence, Martin is a financial analyst for a large corporation. Analytical, adjective, which means using a logical method in order to understand something. Example sentence, the course helps students to develop analytical skills. And analytically, an adverb, which means doing something by using a logical method. Example sentence, many recent graduates are unprepared to think analytically. Dictionaries will list all the word forms and their definitions. When you look up a word, you will usually need to read several entries to find all the word forms. Moving on to activity A. Activity A. What you need to do here, these words come from reading 1 and reading 2. Complete the chart. Use your dictionary to help you. So you need a dictionary to do this activity. An X indicates that a word form does not exist or you don't need to know it at this time. So, as you can see, 1, we have acquire and the noun form acquisition. In 2, we have adjustment, noun. The verb is adjust and the adjective form is adjustable. Then 3, we have the noun form ambiguity, adjective ambiguous, adverb ambiguously. 4, anticipate, the verb form, anticipation, the noun form, anticipated, and no adverb. 5, collaborate, verb form, collaboration, and collaborative, adjective form, collaboratively, adverb form. The adverb form, when possible, is derived by adding ly to the adjective form. 6, we don't have a verb form for constant. The adjective form is also constant and the adverb form is constantly. 7, we have interpret, the verb form, interpretation, noun, interpretive, adjective, no adverb. 8, no verb. Particulars, noun form, particular, adjective form, particularly, adverb form. 9, also no verb. Permanence, noun form, permanent, noun, adjective form, permanently, adverb form. And finally, we don't have a verb form. Reluctance is the noun form, reluctant, the adjective form, reluctantly, the adverb form. Now moving on to activity B. Complete each pair of sentences with the correct form of a word from the chart in activity A, the one we just did. 1. Starting my job was a big adjustment, but I'm finally used to it. B. Your office chair can go higher or lower. The seat is adjustable. As you can see, the first form is adjustment for A and adjustable for B. 2. A. Abdullah works in sales and is constantly on the phone with clients. B. New employees need constant instruction. Learning about a new job takes time. 3. A. Are you only visiting or have you moved here permanently? B. When I started working here I was part-time. Now I am a permanent employee. 4. A. May was ambiguous to ask her teacher for help, but she finally did. B. Adam asked his boss for a raise and the boss ambiguously agreed. 5A. Her answer was 5A. Again, we skipped a sentence. 4A. May was reluctant, not ambiguous, to ask her teacher for help, but she finally did. And B, Adam asked his boss for a raise and the boss reluctantly agreed. Now 5, her answer was ambiguous. What exactly did she mean? 5B, the message is worded ambiguously. I am not sure what it means. 6A, the staff will collaborate on the new marketing plans. And B, there needs to be a close collaboration between teachers and parents for students to do well in school. 7A, the match between the two soccer teams was the most anticipated sporting event of the year. Anticipated. And B, when they posted the job, they didn't anticipate that they would get over 1,000 replies. 8A, let's talk generally about our business trip now. We can discuss the particulars, where we will stay, what we will do, etc. later. And B, keep your schedule open tomorrow for the boss's visit, particularly the hours from 10 to noon. And as a homework, activity C, what you need to do is choose 2 words from the chart in activity A and write 1 sentence for each form of the word, then share your sentences with a partner. For example, I want to collaborate with you on this project. This project was a collaboration between sales and marketing. Our project was a collaborative effort from 2 different departments. So you used collaborate, collaboration, and collaborative. Another example, the students feel some reluctance to apply for jobs in a different field, and the worker is reluctant to ask for a raise, and she reluctantly entered her boss's office to discuss the problem. So the word chosen here is reluctance. Its form reluctant, and the adverb form reluctantly. Alright, that's it everybody. Thank you for listening and stay safe.